This is one that we're probably going to have a bit of a longer conversation about. A new French law allows police to spy using consumer devices. That's right. This is actually happening. This is not in like Iran or something. Like this is in Europe, okay? French lawmakers have agreed to a bill that allows police to spy on suspects. Remember, the word suspects is important here. They are suspected of something. They have not actually been tried. They're not guilty yet. Allows police to spy on suspects through remotely activating the camera, microphone, and GPS of their phones and other devices, including laptops, cars, and phones. Holy shit. But it's okay, they say, because this only applies to offenses punishable by at least 5 years in jail. Use of the provision must be approved by a judge, and the surveillance cannot exceed 6 months. The provision cannot be used against sensitive professions such as, how convenient is this, doctors, journalists, lawyers, judges, and members of parliament. Oh, well, that covers all the bases. Then
we're definitely not worried about like billions of dollars worth of IP being able to be accessed by anyone that does this.
The French justice minister has said that it would affect at most dozens of cases a year. The new law has been widely criticized as authoritarian.
Because it is, yeah. Neat.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. So if you are suspected of a crime that would be punishable by 5 years in prison, but you happen to be a member of parliament or a lawyer, then they can't surveil you?
Someone in chat said, so it's a warrant. I don't think that's the same. Because you have to be served with a warrant, don't you? No? I have no idea.
No, you don't have to be
never
served with
been
a
warrant searched.
But the fact that they can execute this remotely, and like, okay,
you won't know.
The bigger issue is what happens to this data, who has access to it, right?
It's going to leak at some point.
Yeah, of course.
Everything leaks at some point.
Of course it will. Or, I mean, never mind leak, like, what is to prevent someone from using these mechanisms?
Oh, yeah, if they exist.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about how Amazon shut down that guy's like devices because of an alleged incident with a delivery driver or something like that. And I'm sitting here going, the fact that an Amazon employee can even do that is mind-blowing. It shouldn't even be possible. And here we're sitting here going, yeah, we're just going to remotely activate your camera, microphone, GPS of, like, we are actually headed into a dystopian future, sir.
Yeah, you mentioned the
car.
The car. Smart cars have always been a little weird for that. I don't know. Like, there's something to be said about having a car that is just a car. You know?
Dark24 asks, how is this any different than me surveilling all of the employees in Linustown? Well, the difference is that they're all going to know that I'm sitting around with my pants off, enjoying, the voyeurism of watching their daily lives. Mm-hmm. These people don't know.
Yeah. Consenting adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I feel like, just in case someone didn't get it, that was a joke. We are joking about something that was previously brought up on Wan's show, which was talking about Linustown. None of that was serious. Just before we get some message from someone who super did not get it.
Who actually doesn't understand that I do not think that that's okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We don't have any net nanny on people's work computers or screen monitoring or anything like that.
We are implementing stuff that will show like remote management tools, and you shouldn't do personal stuff on your work computer and things like that. So there's that.
Oh, what are we monitoring for? I actually don't know about any of this, so I guess I'm getting my briefing.
It's mostly management. So like we can make sure that people are getting certain updates to browsers, updates to Windows, things like that. If a security breach is detected, we can remote air. I hate this term so much, but we can remote. I've ranted to him before. That's why he laughed. We can remote air gap computers, which is not air gapping them literally at all. I hate that term, but whatever.
Hey,
we can also request remote into people's computers using this. I think there will be a certain tier where we can remote in without requesting, but if I remember correctly, the goal for that is computers that are not individuals' machines.
Okay.
Where it's like, oh, this is like the Stream Deck PC or the Stream Cart PC or something like that type of stuff. If it's an individual's workstation, it won't be a non-request, whatever, blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of, we went through it with Yvonne.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that all sounds fine. Question
you guys
for you.
using Ninja? Yes. There you go.
Question for you. Would you have any interest in a network switch that can be remotely configured to completely, like, physically disconnect a port?
Yeah.
Okay, because they reached out. They like wanted to work together or something like that.
Oh.
So like, is that, what kind of machines would that be useful for? Because I don't think we'd be able to use them for everything because they're not 10 gig or whatever. Like they wouldn't be for performance applications. But that's their whole shtick, is that you actually physically disable the port. But then the question I had was, if you can remotely disable the port,
Can you remotely enable it?
can you remotely re-enable it, and then is it really air gapped? I mean, it's probably better than.
If you can remotely enable it, it's just irrelevant in my opinion.
Okay, so you well,
and then if you can't, then it's
it's irrelevant because you might as well just go back there and unplug it. Like if you have to have physical access to it. I don't know.
well,
Okay,
no, not really. No.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. People are probably curious. I'm just gonna, if I don't find it immediately, searching for air gap. Oh, here it is. OSI Layer 1 Network Kill Switch / Air Gap System. We're a small cyber hardware startup based in the UK. Blah, 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 blah. So it's the literal equivalent of having someone at your rack physically pulling or unplugging your LAN cable.
So how so? How does it work?
They have remote triggers in development, such as LoRaWAN and Zigbee. So it would be separate from your LAN network. That's actually more interesting. If someone had was on, like, if someone had managed to get into your Zigbee controller and also coordinated a cyber attack on a computer that they wanted to make sure you can't.
Kind of a lot going on.
Yeah, it's another factor. You know, nothing is bulletproof, but what you can do is you can add factors. So it's another security factor. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, it looks like that. It's a network switch, all right.
It's a network switch.
Yep, can confirm.
So yeah, okay, but sorry, how does it do it? Because that just sounded like fake air gapping again. I didn't read it. I haven't looked at it. I don't know.
I'll forward it to you.
Okay, we'll figure it out. I just don't think things should be called air gap if there is no gap of air.
Technically, there's probably a very small gap of air.
Oh my goodness. Technically, we're just a long tube.
I really thought we were going to talk about that French law a lot more than we ended up doing, but I guess
I don't think there's a lot to say. It's just kind of
other than very bad,
reprehensible. It's you can never imagine when you make something like this that the tools are not going to end up in the hands of someone that you don't want them to be. And anytime there's a back door, that means there is a possible door for someone else to find.
And anytime you make a law like this, you should assume that someone will use it on you someday, and then you should not do that.
Yep.
Like I'm not pro, you know, I'm not pro people getting away with breaking the law. You know, like I'm sure ne'er-do-wells had similar objections to street lamps when they implemented them in the like 1800s, or, you know, whenever street lamps showed up. Apparently the reduction in just sort of general street crime was like enormous just from lights. Let me see if I can find the. Oh wait, hold on. Little rigorous evidence exists to support this contention. Hold on, man. Now I can't find it. In the UK, an average of 38 fewer crimes were observed in areas with improved street lighting based on 5 studies. Man, now I was reading a thing a long time ago, so I'm not going to be able to find it again, I don't think, but it was something to do with like when street lighting was first implemented. It had like an enormous impact or something like that. But apparently I just am completely off base on all of this, so there you go. Sweet. Yeah. Chat. Street lamps, basically the same thing as pointing cameras at everyone in their own house. No, it's not the same thing. I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're on this slippery slope right now where we're just kind of like, yeah, what's another camera? What's another microphone? And at a certain point, it's like, no, actually, that's actually bad.
Yeah. Like there's an old picture of Zuckerberg sitting at his laptop and his camera's taped over. And you'd think like this person should have substantial security, right? So it shouldn't be a problem. So why does he care? Maybe because it like is a problem anyways. You are never fully secured out, right? And like the fact that these things have cameras on both ends of them. I never use the selfie cam. Literally ever. I don't know if the selfie cam on this phone has actually like ever been used. I just flip it around and take the picture that way. So like, cause it's a better camera.
No scope.
Yeah. Like whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not taking pictures of myself that often. So like I've thought about just covering it up before, but then I'm like, well, there's still the camera on the other side and microphones and everything else and all the other cameras and all the other everythings. So it's like, I don't know. Never a video call? Not off my phone. No, never. I don't generally like being on my phone.
I especially don't really like video calls.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of hate them. Like if I want to pick my nose or something, then
yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw some speculation that I'm a cokehead because I like.
Oh.
No, I just have a lot of nose hair.
Yeah, me too.
And it grows from the one side and then kind of like tickles the other side. It's like
you have to scratch it all the time. Yeah.
That's the less interesting but far more based in reality explanation for that, by the way.
We're aging.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Oh man.
Time to talk sponsors.
So someone in chat, why take a picture of yourself and you can take a picture of the burrito? Exactly. I guarantee you there's more pictures of like food in my phone than pictures of myself.